What's up, YouTube? This is William from WandJwrestling, and just like I promised, here is a week in wrestling. I did make one for last week, but I haven't had a chance to make the video. I just got back from vacation earlier this week, and by the time I started putting it together and I had it done, it was midweek, and I haven't had a chance to make a video at all. And so I just figured it was pointless to do last week's. I really wanted to because of Raw 1000, but it would be pointless now for me to put it up because, a lot of what I talk about and predict, we've already found the result of what's happening next. So I figured just scrap it and just move on to this week's. So this is for July 30th through August 3rd. That's this Monday through Friday. This past Monday through Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and start. First show of the week is Raw. And starting Raw was Punk coming out to cut a promo, and I thought it was hysterical. He walked over to the announcer's table and just sat on the table right in front of Lawler and just trashed him completely because Lawler made a comment last week saying that Punk turned his back on the WWE. And so we knew that coming into Raw 1001, Punk was going to give his explanation for what happened, and it was a solid explanation. He's clearly going into the direction of a heel turn, but right now he hasn't fully gone that heel yet. He's kind of that in-between where he's just he's leaning more to the bad side, but he doesn't seem like he fully crossed that line yet. But I'm pretty sure within the weeks to come we're going to see a full heel turn from Punk, because that's just what it's looking like. But I thought this was an excellent promo. Punk is great on the mic, and he never disappoints once he picks up that microphone. And he just ripped into Lawler and tore him a new one. It was a great promo. So, yeah. Next up, this was random to me. It was a Del Rio squash match against Santino, and then Del Rio says he refuses to wrestle until SummerSlam. I don't even know what to say for this match. It was just really random and out of nowhere that Del Rio would go against Santino. So yeah, it was a random match. I guess it was just for Del Rio to say he's better than everyone by beating Santino, but that really doesn't prove anything. Next up is Brodus Clay came out doing his little Funkasaurus thing, which, by the way, is really annoying. Brodus Clay's character, to me, just feels like a complete waste because he's never going to do anything with it. It's always just going to be like a crowd pleaser like Santino. Why Santino has a title, I don't even know. But anyway, so Sandow comes out and just, starts beating the crap out of him. And I was laughing. I thought it was funny because just watching Brodus Clay drop to the ground. Honestly, both these characters have kind of annoyed me just because we haven't seen Sandow in an actual full match that wasn't a squash match. All he does is grabs his opponent, knees him 10 times, and does his little neck breaker finish. So I just thought it was kind of funny. Hopefully this escalates into some kind of decent feud where we get to see, Sandow actually wrestle and Brodus Clay not squash someone in a match. My favorite match from Brodus Clay so far is when he went against Big Show, because Big Show knocked him out. It was just funny watching him lose for once and not squash his opponent. So yeah, next up, Sheamus went against Daniel Bryan in a street fight. I thought the choices were kind of dumb because it was street fight, then it was no holds barred, and then I forget what the other one. It was falls count anywhere. So basically, it was just 3 matches where they didn't need to supply anything for it, and there was just gonna be no disqualification some way or another. So, anywho, this was an excellent match. Everybody knows from watching Extreme Rules that Sheamus and Daniel Bryan put on excellent matches together. I really wanted Daniel Bryan to win. I was just he's going to win, he's going to win. I was no, it's because they want to keep pushing Sheamus forward, so he's not going to win. But I really wanted Daniel to win. But Sheamus won. It was a good match. I was happy with it. So yeah, just overall great match. I enjoyed watching it. And honestly, this probably stole the entire Raw show because this was just a great match. Next up, Titus beat Kofi in a one-on-one match, and AEW made a Kobe Bryant rape joke. Okay, it was a good match. AW, I think he threw his shoe at Kofi and distracted him. That's where Titus, I think he did his spine buster on him and pinned him. Now, as for the Kobe Bryant rape joke, I really didn't even catch it at first. I just read a whole bunch of reports about it later, and I was just like, oh, I didn't even realize that. But the point being that, like, everybody's so upset about it and made, like, ESPN News and all that. It's just like, okay, big deal. It's a joke. All right? Get over it. Not that big of a deal. It's a joke. You know, it's nothing to be sensitive about. You know, who cares? That's just my thought on it. Next up, Randy Orton makes his return because Heath Slater went out, cut his promo, and said, you know, I challenge any current WWE superstar to come out. And so the guy who's been losing to all the legends just lost to the legend killer. So, yeah, I think everybody was just happy to see Randy come back. Definitely the roster needed it. Him and Ray coming back definitely added that extra star power that was really needed. So it's good that both of them came back. And his suspension's up, so let's hope he doesn't get suspended again because the odds are Vince is wanting to fire him. Next up, Jericho and Christian beat Ziggler and Miz. I was a little upset how the outcome of the match ended with Miz getting pinned, but because it was Christian giving him a thumb to the eye, it just kind of escalates the Christian-Miz feud, which is okay with me because I expect to see another match from them going into SummerSlam for the IC belt again. And I'm ecstatic to see the Ziggler-Jericho feud because that's just going to be a great match overall. Both of them great performers. What's going to happen in the match, I have no clue. But the tag match was pretty good itself. You know, everybody did their fair part, and it, you know, just looked good. So, yeah. So, basically, the point of the match was just basically to escalate the feuds that are going on right now. And the tag match did just that. Next up, I was surprised to see both of these on Raw, both these guys on Raw. So, Tensai had won the match, but then he kept attacking him like he does. And Tyson won. Now, I like Tyson Kidd. I think he's, you know, he's really cool to watch in the ring. He's a high flyer, does lots of cool stuff. And he's a good wrestler, without a doubt. And Tensai is not bad himself. I don't know if they're actually, you know, trying to create a feud with these two. So I guess the score right now would technically be, how many times did Tyson beat him? I think Tyson's beaten him 2-3 times now, something like that. So maybe they're creating a feud out of them, which that'd be pretty cool to see them on Raw or SmackDown, I guess. I mean, Raw has 3 hours to fill. Why not, you know, show other people, because eventually you're going to start running out at some point. So, yeah, it was a pretty good match. So, let's see, moving on. The promos that Brian was cutting in the back were hysterical with the psychiatrist, especially when he did the little the Rorschach test and made a little goat face, and he's like, "I'm not a goat face," and was calling out Charlie Sheen. But the best part of it was in the end when the psychiatrist walked out and Kane walked in and said, "I'm your new anger management counselor." I thought that was hysterical, and he just smashed him against the wall. So I think what's going on is they're trying to lead into a Kane versus Daniel Bryan feud going into SummerSlam. So that way Daniel has something to do. If they do end up doing that match, I do hope that they let Daniel Bryan win because he needs that win more than Kane. Kane's character is just kind of lost. Like, he's just kind of thrown into feuds because he's a big guy and he's, like, kind of experienced. So when you beat Kane, it kind of makes you look good. And so I think Daniel Bryan could use that win. Next up, Big Show. AJ announced earlier in the show that Big Show and Cena would compete in a match, and the winner would face Punk at SummerSlam for the belt. But anyway, I think towards the end of the match, Big Show threw Cena over the announce table into Punk and knocked him off. So anyway, the match is going on, and Cena goes to AA Big Show, and Punk just comes and clocks him from behind, clocks Cena from behind, so he falls down, and the ref calls for, you know, the match to end. It's a no contest, and Punk just kind of grabs the mic and says, you know, there is no winner, they're both losers. So I thought it was really funny. But then AJ comes out and is just like, screw you, Punk, you know, I'm the new boss, and I'm going to make this a triple threat at SummerSlam. And Punk's like, you can't do that to me. And she's like, I just did. And he's like, so yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. AJ's doing pretty good as GM so far. I'm impressed. I like her so far, so let's just hope that it keeps going good. And moving on to Superstars. I know y'all are like, oh,